Hi, Justin.
Hi, thanks, Seb. Hi, everyone. Great to be here.
Same,
Okay.
great to have you here. So tell us more. What are the something that Boson is doing?
Okay. So yeah, I'm here to talk to you about Boson Protocol and some exciting things we're building for digital to physical game NFTs. So my name's Justin Bannon. My co-founder Gregor and I and an amazing team are building out Boson Protocol. So amongst other things, Boson enables the delivery of real-world items via in-game NFTs. So actually, Boson is a universal protocol that enables this digital to physical redemption. And one of the first verticals that we are exploring and developing in is the game vertical. So at its core, yeah, our unique technology enables this digital to physical redemption in a crypto native and trustless way. So, you know, as we all know here, we've got this booming virtual economy. And so, you know, we're seeing this, the purchase of digital items, you know, just growing exponentially. But also, you know, we're seeing massively in the NFT art space and also in gaming this need for physical items as well, and a need for trustless physical delivery. And so, you know, combined also with the emergence of lots of brands wanting to come and play in this gaming space and really meet their customers where they're kind of playing. Boson meets all of these opportunities. So in terms of benefits, the Boson mechanism enables games to offer the physical incentives. So we're talking about these sort of real world rewards for completing assignments, missions, or achievements, and we deliver these via these Boson nifty commitment tokens. And so these you can think of them as a nifty voucher with game theory built in them that can be redeemed for physical rewards. So it's this, you know, digital to physical redemption of in-game purchases. So you can think about not only merchandise but experiences and actual and products as well. And as I mentioned, this is a trust minimized solution. So we leverage some novel game theory that's encoded within NFTs that removes the need for intermediaries and dramatically reduces the need for any arbitration to get this very low cost, trust, and friction ability to redeem a digital promise in the form of an NFT for a physical item. So a bit about the protocol, and there's plenty more on our website for people who want to dig into it. And we're also over the coming weeks publishing a lot of pretty technical articles on the game theory, in particular by our lead game theorist, who's Dr. Akaki, who's one of the world's top algorithmic game theorists. But what Boson enables is a cost minimized solution for exchanging digital value for real world products and services. So it's important to note that the protocol is you know, minimally extractive. So we don't make you know, an excessive you know, profit. And any fees are recycled within the protocol, including to participants such as you know, games platforms. There's also minimal arbitration. The vast majority of all of this will be automated without any need for human intervention. Also, trust minimized. So the core protocol is provably secure end to end. It's like an oracle for physical assets. And of course, that can be extended to be more flexible where there are kind of trust choices. So, for example, do you decide to trust DHL to go the last mile, or do you want to click and collect, in which case it's completely end-to-end secure. And also reliable. So the buyer could meet the seller completely anonymously in a virtual world and exchange digital value for the promise of a real world item, and trust that either they will get that real world item or that they'll get their money back. And more than that, that they also have, they know that the seller has a financial commitment to actually deliver that item. So the reversibility and quality is controlled as well. And then further down on our roadmap, also this rich data feedback. So for games to be able to segment and understand the preferences and buying behaviors and of their players via an integration with Ocean Protocol. So in terms of value flows, we enable games to leverage their existing business model. If that business model is earning transaction fees from the sale of in-game items, then we can replicate those business models and enable games to earn transaction fees. But the actual exchange of digital value for physical items by Boson is via an automated escrow that's controlled by game theory. And as I mentioned previously, this is minimally extractive. We don't layer huge fees. Our model, as I said, Boson is a universal protocol for enabling digital to physical. So our model is to charge a small fee across a potentially vast number of transactions. And we're also trust minimize. As I mentioned, the buyer and the seller don't need to trust a centralized entity. So this is trust, cost, and friction minimization. We are working with and partnering with a number of players across the space, and we'll be announcing a whole host of partnerships in the run up to our public sale, which is in towards the end of March. But absolutely key to Boson Protocol is building a protocol where we incentivize games and game platforms to work with us. And to be part of the ecosystem. So our token engineering team are actively partnering with a number of partners, and really look forward to increasing those conversations so that we actually build into the core token model and crypto economics incentives to come and bring demand to the platform, and to bring supply and demand in a similar way that we've seen in DeFi with sort of supply and demand mining. We're doing the same for dCommerce. We also will be using an ecosystem fund to fund integrations with Boson Protocol and ecosystem initiatives. And again, through our partnership with Ocean Protocol, we'll be enabling a very, very rich database of the preferences of players across multiple games. So we will incentivize players to share their preference data, and then that can be used to obtain deeper understanding and therefore deeper engagement with your players. In terms of technology, we will integrate with games using some standards that you'll all be familiar with, ERC 721s and 1155s, using proxy interfaces for integration, and enabling also redemption via the Boson app, which is a reference app that can also be white labeled or incorporated within the games platforms. As I mentioned, Boson Protocol is, this is one vertical for us. We're actually a universal dCommerce protocol with a very wide range of use cases. Benefit of that also is that it gives the gaming sector access to supply across the entire economy, really. And we're building on Ethereum. I'll probably skip some of the technology, but I'm happy to go through that in more depth, perhaps in sort of one-to-ones. But The transaction flow, which is this one's pretty high level, is that a seller will make an offer of a real world item. That offer is then backed by a commitment deposit, which is a deposit that the seller will deliver to a certain level of quality. The buyer then places a deposit that says, yeah, I commit to buy this thing, and I also put my payment into the NFT. And then the process that's followed is that once the redemption is signed by the buyer, the seller or their proxy will transfer the physical asset, and then the payments and deposits are released. Obviously, this is the happy path. Deviations from that path by either party are penalized, and the overall outcome of the game is that buyer and seller are incentivized to behave fairly. Some really quick kind of visuals of how this might look within games, where exactly the same UI as buying a digital in-game item. The difference being that it's redeemable for a real-world item. So purchasing of a physical, and then one fulfillment method is click and collect from a store. So this could be, like, for example, the Nike store or some form of game store. So to the user, this is deliberately as close to a sort of a Web 2 experience as we can get, but surfacing some of these game theoretic elements as well. Or the second method is via a courier. Of course, this does introduce trust, and it's the decision of the buyer. Do I trust? Do I trust that if the courier says this thing has been delivered, that the seller gets paid? And this is part of a kind of trust grayscale. So for very high cost items, you might decide to click and collect from a super secure depot, or have a one-time password. And for less, for lower value items, you might just be fine to trust, for example, FedEx standard API. In terms of our roadmap, we are currently about to launch our reference app and mainnet in under a month. We then launch our NFT art MVP, fast followed by our gaming MVP. So we are actively discussing and onboarding partners right now. So if anyone's interested, please do reach out. We'd love to speak to you.